Fox 61 breaking news now.
Tonight, we're following breaking news at 6. Bright Path Daycare in Avon suddenly closed 2 of its buildings today after a former staff member was accused of sexually abusing children there. Bright Path originally planned to close entirely on May 22nd, but according to the Office of Early Childhood, new information has since come to light that raised, quote, significant concerns about child health and safety. The other 2 buildings are still scheduled to close on the 22nd. OEC said they recognize the hardship of this sudden closure and said families looking for alternative child care options can contact 211 Child Care. And in another breaking news update tonight, the former water superintendent for the city of Waterbury has been arrested and charged with forgery. Thank you so much for watching the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Annette Montgomery. Now, this all comes after Bradley Millay stepped down from the role last week. And about an hour ago, officials gave us more details on what they say they found during their investigation. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules joins us live in Waterbury with the details on those charges and the mayor's plan moving forward. Alicia.
Annette, during that press conference, the mayor said Bradley Millay lied about his educational background to get the job of water superintendent. Mayor Paul Pernerusky says this discovery was a part of the city's ongoing investigation into water flow issues in the city. Late last week, when Bradley Millay was asked about the misconduct during an interview, the mayor said Millay stepped down from his position. Upon further investigation, Police Chief Fernando Spagnolo said Millay fabricated and embellished his educational and professional experience in order to appear qualified for the position. The police chief said on Millay's application for the assistant superintendent of water position, he said he had an associate's degree in chemistry and science. Later, for the superintendent of water position, he said he had a bachelor's in science and chemistry. They say he submitted unofficial transcripts from the Southern Connecticut State University. Chief Spagnolo says he also claimed he had a Distribution 3 water license from the State Department of Public Health, which he says is untrue. The mayor said he was shocked by this discovery.
The fact that he, apparently intentionally put false information on there and then signed, certified that it was correct is troubling to me, and I think we've got to follow that through to the end.
He did not meet the threshold and the criteria that was required under the civil service rules and regulations by the city of Waterbury to apply for these jobs.
Millay was charged with 2 counts of forgery in the 2nd degree. Despite the discrepancies in his application, the chief says he does have an extensive history with water distribution and water treatment. The mayor said Millay's misconduct does not directly relate to the water issues with fire hydrants in the city. As of right now, the city said they will only accept official transcripts for positions in the city. And going forward, HR is currently doing a review of everyone that works for the city to make sure that they are properly credentialed. Live in Waterbury, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
Thank you so much, Alicia. Well, a Manchester man charged with killing his girlfriend back in 2023 pleaded guilty today in a Vernon courtroom. Abdul Mboub accepted a plea deal in which he would serve 34 years in prison for the murder of Anastasia Paul and her unborn child. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson is in Vernon, where the family of Anastasia made their voices heard before the plea.
The emotional scene in court proved that time has not healed this wound for the Paul family. With Mboub's plea in the rearview and his sentencing around the corner, the Paul family is close to closing this 3-year chapter.
How do you plead guilty or not guilty?
Guilty. The family of Anastasia Paul has been waiting 3 years to hear those words. In 2025, Abdul Mboub rejected the state's plea deal, which saw him facing a 35 to 45-year sentence. Now he's accepting the state's most recent deal of 34 years. Before he pleaded guilty, Paul's mom spoke on behalf of her daughter and the family.
Anastasia was one of a kind, giving, sweet, caring, and full of life. She loved life, and she loved everyone in it. She loved her son. She was preparing for another child. She was building a future that was taken away from her without mercy.
Prosecutors say Mboub strangled Paul to death while she was pregnant. They say Mboub later admitted to choking her because of suspected infidelity and alleged mistreatment of their 16-month-old child. They say Mboub's mother convinced him to turn himself in.
This was not an isolated incident. This was the final result of a documented history of reoccurring domestic violence, control, and abuse. He had already threatened her life. He had already shown exactly who he was. Despite that, she was not protected.
Along with Paul's mother, many other family members filled the courtroom, including brother and sister Tashim Mosley and Jelena Paul.
Baby Anastasia, she was a great person, comfortable person to be around. You know, she always hype your head up when you're around. A great person, great personality, everything. You know, I just miss her. I know everyone misses her. And this is just sad.
We're being failed right now, if I'm being honest. But we did a prayer upstairs just now, and we're just going to leave it in God's hands at this point. It's coming towards the end of the road, and I hope that everyone in that courthouse understands the true depth and severity of this whole case.
The family also wore shirts with Paul's face on them in support.
You would have to know her and talk to her, have one conversation to really understand how much that her, out of all people, did not deserve this.
Abdul Mboub's sentencing is set for July 31st. The family of Anastasia Paul is expected to be there that day as well. In Vernon, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Thank you, Jamel. Well, switching gears to weather. Sam, we did it. We made it to May, and it was a beautiful start.
That's right. You know, we did have a little bit cooler than normal temperatures, but who can complain with this beautiful picture here live shot here at downtown Hartford. Look at the traffic jammed up Friday evening rush hour with sun glare. 63 degrees, 28% relative humidity. Remember that. It's very, very dry. 59 now in Winstead, 57 go. You know, temperatures are pretty much uniform. Low and middle 60 down the Connecticut River Valley, but you know, you could see that anywhere from 58 Torrington to 62 Willimantic and New Milford. Look at these dew points, how dry it is. So any rain that tries to come in here is going to fall apart for a while. Like you see just out to the west, you would think, oh no, the rain's going to be in here in the next hour or two. No, it's not. It's going to take a while to moisten up. We probably won't see any showers till at least as we get towards midnight. So overnight, chance for some showers. It says rain, but on and off spotty showers into early tomorrow morning. Otherwise, we put this into motion. Again, you see it's going to take a while to get any rain to actually fall down. It's more around this time, 3 to 5 o'clock, get a couple of showers, and then we'll clear out, and we'll have temperatures getting up into the mid to upper 50s. Some sun, too. Coming up, I'll detail your Sunday forecast. Look ahead to a fairly nice warm-up next week. But how long will it last? Details coming up in a few minutes. Annette?
Thank you, Sam. Well, this afternoon, oil is hovering around $105 a barrel, now raising the national average of a gallon of gas. And it doesn't stop there, as experts say prices could hit $5 by Memorial Day. Now, this all comes as Iran state media says a negotiation plan has now been delivered to Pakistan. Caroline Shively has the reaction from U.S. leaders like President Trump.
When this war ends, gasoline and oil and everything, it's going to come tumbling down.
President Trump with that hopeful message for drivers on Friday, who are sick of paying high prices. The national average hit $4.39 per gallon Friday, a 9-cent jump from Thursday, and a 27-cent increase from last week.
I've never watched the price ever go up this fast in my life, and I'm 71 years old.
It's changing how some Americans spend their money.
Gas prices being as high as they are, doing things like we normally do, like youth sports, going out to eat, random shopping and stuff like that, definitely put some pause in there.
Negotiations between the U.S. and Iran also appear to be paused just over 2 months into the war. Iran says it delivered its latest peace offer to intermediary Pakistan on Thursday. But President Trump said Friday Tehran is asking for things he can't agree to.
They all want to make a deal, but they're all messed up.
In the meantime, the Strait of Hormuz remains effectively closed for business. 2 months ago, it was a pathway for 20% of the world's oil.
It remains a very high-risk region, and one where you don't see ship owners willing to move their assets and their people through the strait because of those risks.
Democrats say Friday is also the deadline for the administration to get congressional authority to continue the war or start withdrawing troops. The White House says there is no deadline while there's a ceasefire in place. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox 61.
A nurse in Cheshire will spend 1 day in prison after she admitted to prescribing illegal drugs to people, and 5 of those people died from overdoses. Michelle Muzica has been behind bars since last June after a nationwide healthcare fraud investigation. Yesterday, a judge sentenced Muzica to time already served on top of 3 years of supervised release, as well as a $25,000 fine and 100 hours of community service. Investigators say Muzica prescribed and charged a fee for drugs like Adderall and Xanax to people who didn't medically need them. Well, take a look. This fire this morning in Durham led to a business owner being rushed to the hospital. It happened around 8:40 at the Cozy Corner restaurant on New Haven Road. The Durham Fire Marshal tells us the business was not open and the owner was the only one inside when that fire started. We're also told crews were able to get that fire under control in about 15 minutes, and the owner was sent to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Take a listen to what one neighbor had to say about that intense scene.
When I came up, it's a pretty bad fire. It's a big mess. It'll probably take them quite a while to get it all cleaned up and get back in business again.
You saw the damage to that building there. Now, at this time, officials are still working to figure out what caused that fire. We also know roads were temporarily closed while crews were on scene, but they have since reopened. Police in Waterbury had to close down a road this afternoon after construction crews hit a gas line. It happened on Mitchell Avenue and Holmes Avenue. Officials said the gas line wasn't marked, so the workers didn't realize it had been hit. Crews managed to cap the gas line by 1 p.m. and the road was reopened after that. Well, in honor of the fallen firefighters memorial service happening this Sunday, flags will now be lowered to half-staff this weekend. The annual ceremony will be held Sunday, May 3rd in Emmitsburg, Maryland, and will recognize 204 firefighters from departments across the country. They all died in the line of duty, including 2 from right here in Connecticut. That includes Raymond Moreau from the Plainville Fire Department and Todd Gagnon of the Cromwell Fire Department. Governor Ned Lamont has ordered the flags to be half-staff from sunrise to sunset.